So the first aspect that I was talking about is just the way this information about channels and centers and all the definitions and interesting information that this system, human design, has within it, just knowing this stuff may enable a person a fresh, new perspective about things that consciously or unconsciously were not accepted fully in his behavior, in his experience. And actually just knowing about getting the permission slip, a term that I like and heard from someone else, just getting the permission slip for certain behaviors and patterns inside and outside can bring about more sense of a more self-acceptance, more understanding and accepting of others, because you suddenly think that and know that certain behaviors are just possible for humans, and that they are not controllable, in the same way that if you knew that a malfunction in a certain gland in your body can bring about violence in people, or like when you know about PMS and you don't know about PMS, let's say as a male human, a man, if you know about PMS and you don't know about PMS, if you know about how PMS can influence women's behavior, and you see a woman just going crazy and lashing out, you can be more compassionate and less judging maybe than before you knew about this syndrome. As the same way, when you know about human design and the way we're influenced by certain patterns and forces inside our genetic makeup and also from outside, it's more maybe easier to go about in this world and be more understanding and compassionate to yourself and also to others. So this is one aspect that can be beneficial in human design, but also sometimes taken too far, as in just seeing it as the whole picture or the only picture that's out there, and developing a sense of all-knowing, very certain. I know what life is all about now, and I have the knowledge, and you don't. So you're living the not-self life, and I am, and we are the champions, my friends. So this is one aspect. The other aspect, which of course, as I said, they come together, is strategy and authority. I really liked what I said before, but I don't remember what it was. That it's, Ra called it deconditioning process, and I said it was just like fasting. It's one medicine for all in a way, because in all the kinds of strategy and authority to all types, we are moving into a more receptive, a lot of noise in the background, someone probably had a glandular problem and went violent. Anyway, so all the types in all the strategy and authority, they are moving into a more receptive, the way Ra termed it, a more less active way of living, way of experimenting, as he called it, in their life, just trying to do less and be more, and react, not react, respond, being a responding mode. Even the manifester are waiting for their own self-authority to appear from wherever, which is already less active from the way that most of us are living. So when you, this is the second aspect that I wanted to mention, because I think this is generally wise in the way that also fasting can be generally wise. It doesn't matter really, in my experience and observation of people in the experiment and friends and myself, that it doesn't really matter which authority and strategy you're issued by your alleged chart, and what type you are. I don't know if it really matters. What matters is that you have a chance to do this movement and take this backward step from acting in life and listening to the recommendation of your mental system about how to live your life, and you just get a chance to move backwards and listen to your body more, be more body oriented, be aware of what's happening here in this field, and also to have a community that you are experiencing this together and can talk about this experience with each other and share its difficulties and its revelations, because it is kind of difficult. It's like people fasting together, but having a very special language to describe what they are experiencing when they are fasting, with the language being the human design language and definitions, and also feeling very special and connected as a group because of this special language that they have, that it's hard to share with anyone else that is not into it. And the experience of this activity fasting from being too active, it gives, it opens up possibilities in your capacity for more awareness, more self-awareness. It just has it just can bring about transformation naturally in the same way that when you fast from some behavior that you're used to do, like fasting from food or stopping, I don't know, watching TV for 3 days and just going out to nature more, any kind of stopping some kind of hectic and automatic behavior and doing something else or doing less than what you're used to do has the capacity to bring about something new. It just makes space for something new to be able to arise. You know, you start implementing and experimenting with strategy and authority, and you start initiating less and just being more relaxed within yourself, more somatically sensitive, because you're trying to sense where your authority is coming from, whether it's from your belly or from your spleen or from your emotional whatever system, and you're trying to sense what's going on in your body. For many people, this in itself is a new thing, a new kind of listening, inward listening that they are not used to. And you start to be more anchored in the present moment, because you're more anchored in your somatic experience, in the feeling of what's going on here in your body. And you're more aware of when you are trying to make an outward movement into life, and when you are really trying to bring about something, and from an anxious place or a worried place, and you're trying to relax that and just be, and whatever comes to you is being responded to, and you're trying to come less to life with your agenda, but let life come to you, and then respond from a somatic place, which is called, for most of us, it's somatic, and it's called authority. So this kind of dynamics, this kind of being in life, it has the potential to just bring about many transformations in one's awareness, state of awareness, perception, the way you look at life, because you stop doing. When you stop doing, immediately you start seeing, or almost immediately. Whenever you stop doing, you make a space. You just stop. And this is strategy and authority, and that is its greatness and brilliance of these recommendations of behavior, this behavioral part of the human design experiment. Because the moment you take a step back and stop being so active and stop being so agenda-driven, and you ground yourself in your present moment experience, which is for most of us somatic, based on body sensations and responses, and for the rest, very few, like reflectors, it's also somatically based, but just Ra didn't talk about it this way. Just they have to wait longer until they feel they know. But what feels you know? Can you feel you know without any somatic experience? You just feel that you know. And you are also aware of how your environment is, human environment is reflecting to you different possibilities. But you're aware, you're more, you may be not entirely relaxed, but you're not active. And when you're not active, you can become more conscious. And when you are conscious, things can come to the surface, things can come up and be seen and then corrected and also integrated. If there are imbalances, the imbalance can be seen, and then the system, with its awareness, the system being this, us, me, I, you, can notice the imbalance and can see it maybe for the first time, and then it can make a correction naturally and integrate this imbalance into the whole picture of what we are, and natural healing can occur only from this slowing down. Because slowing down is something that I became aware of this through learning a lot of what Richard Rudd is teaching, which Richard Rudd is a great thinker and teacher that also came out of human design in his past. And what I managed to understand through him is that slowing down is a good facilitator of many things, like healing, like just consciousness coming to the fore, awareness, because the more you're hectically involved in life, the less you can experience a breaking down of anxiety and stress patterns that are automatically running. When you have a decision to slow down and you try to slow down consciously, those patterns, they are not engaged in anymore and can be seen. They, all of a sudden you can see what you've been doing, and you can see how anxious you are. You can feel all of a sudden how anxious you are. You can all of a sudden hear your anxious thoughts because you're not acting on them. And then when they become conscious, they become visible, the consciousness itself can heal them, can start and break them down and dissolve them. And it's not, it's a gradual process, but eventually it can come about. So it's like the recommendation of, again, of strategy and authority is not because that is the way, for me, it's not because that is the way you should act from now on to the grave. And if you're not doing that, if you're a projector and you're not waiting to be invited, you're doing something wrong. That is just people taking strategy and authority to a fascistic place, let's say, for lack of a better word right now. But it's not about that. On the contrary, you should aid yourself with strategy and authority to permit yourself to be more receptive, more slowing down, and more more aware of your stress patterns, and not automatically acting out those patterns, allowing yourself to listen to your intuition and lean back. But don't make it the obligatory way of behaving for you. Just because if you do that, you might prevent some fluid integration of some aspects of your personality that is trying to combine itself with your overall current makeup, not the makeup that Ra said the chart is of you and that you should be, which is rigid. But your current makeup, the way you are, with the way you are, you came to the experiment, all of you, with all of your whatever conditioning and the family you grew up in, and all your traumas, if there are any, and things that happened and influenced you and your behavior today, and everything that is in you that is trying to come up and to be seen in consciousness and to be embraced and accepted. and healed and integrated into you again. If you take strategy and authority as the way I should act, the way I should be, because this is the recipe that Ra gave to me, and I am this projector, I am this type, I am these definitions. You might use this recipe and hurt yourself because you're doing it in an unorganic, unnatural way for you. And the fact that this so-called doctor, Ra'uruhu, was I'm missing a word, I'm sorry, but I have to have this word, but I don't. But because, expert. Because this Rahu was expert on this subject of human design and this certain aspect of energetic makeup, and he had those recommendations of a specific way of fasting your activity and becoming more receptive. Okay? It doesn't mean that he knows all of you. It doesn't mean he knows all the picture of this system that is you. With all of its aspect, he didn't even know everything about being a human being. He couldn't, because I don't know if any human being can know everything, and just human beings and the thinking human being is built for expertise, and Ra was an expert on human design. And the fact that this expert is coming to you with his expert advice doesn't mean he knows what's good for you. And like we do many times with doctors, we have to take their advice, but take it lightly and see if it benefits us and how we can combine it with our life. And although they are expert in their field, not make them an expert on us. Because if you will make them an expert on you, it might sometimes work, but sometimes it may not. And it may even damage you. So I can see it's almost half an hour, and the recording is coming to an end. So I'll end here. I hope this was clear. I hope you understand what I'm getting at. I enjoyed making it, so thank you, and see you around. Bye.